Hello guys, welcome to your ninth lesson in this VueJS course. And in this lesson, we're going to be looking at using Tailwind CSS framework inside of VueJS. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm right here back into the app. And the first thing I want to do is go to the Tailwind docs. And I already opened up the link right here. The link will also be in the description. And the first thing I want to do is I want to run this npm install Tailwind CSS. But one thing I want you to note is before you run it, make sure that you stop your development server. Okay, so I'm going to come right here and I'm going to just paste this in and run the command for it to install. Okay, so that got installed. And the second thing I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to come here and generate the Tailwind config file. Okay, so I'm going to paste this here and run it. So that should create a tailwind.config.js. All right, and then the last thing I think I want to do is I want to copy this. Oh, not the last one. We still have like two more steps. Okay, and then I'm going to come to this Tailwind config and I'm basically going to paste this here. All right, then the next thing is the CSS file we created earlier. I think I deleted it already, so I'm going to say global.css. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring in Tailwind directives and copy that and then just bring it there, Viola. Then I'm going to then import, okay, asset and then global.css, and let's save that and come here. Okay, and I'm going to run my npm run serve. So let's see, let's hope that work. Okay, so how about we come back here and then we run this. We are not seeing anything special, are we? Okay, but let's see if adding a few of CSS Tailwind CSS styles are going to work. So I'm going to come to my component and component one and start the class. I'm going to put text red, and then let's use something that is a bit light. Okay, 600 is okay. And then I'm going to say text to Excel. All right, and then I'm going to say font bold. Okay, let's save that and let's see if that got applied. You can see it got applied here. Okay, let's do something else. Let's come to component 2 and then I'm going to say class of bg green. Okay, let's say 600. Oh, they should be green. And then let's say text white, and then padding I want to add, okay, py7 and px5. Okay, let's save that and let's come here. Oh, we can see it's got added right here, and so fine. And what about maybe something else? Let's say one of the animation class, and then let's say we have something like animate spin. Okay, let's see, will that work? Okay, all right, that's working, that's working, that's working. All right, so we can see Tailwind CSS works now. And actually, I'm all about making your development live and process easier. If you've used Tailwind CSS before, you know that they have tons and tons of utility. One extension to help you is the Tailwind um yeah, they have a Tailwind plug extension right here in Visual Studio Code. Yeah, so this is a Tailwind CSS IntelliSense right from Tailwind Labs itself. So it basically helps you even when you want to work with the Tailwind CLI, okay, and you want to add their classes. It's kind of like give you the IntelliSense, the completion, which actually is nice, and I make use of it very much, very much. Okay, so we've seen this, and to actually before bringing this lesson to a close, let's come here inside of my components. The way I love to arrange things, I have headers, okay, and then inside here also I'll add footers, okay, and then inside here also I'm going to have layouts, okay, and then I'm also going to add let's say partials. So these are partial components I'm making use in um in my app. Okay, and then the last thing, okay, that's all I need for now. So how about we actually create some real components since we are able to style up things up a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to app.view here, and then I'm going to remove this, I'm going to remove this, and I'm also going to remove all this. We don't actually need all this right here. And finally, we're going to remove this app styling. Remember, this is global, and we don't need that. We don't need to write any custom CSS right here, and that's one of the reasons why I love Tailwind CSS. Okay, so I'm going to delete this three, and right here inside of the layout, I'm going to just do something very simple. I'm going to say layout default layout dot view. Okay, so I'm just going to generate this view init, and what I'm basically going to have is, okay, I'm going to have header right here. So main header dot view, and then basically we're going to generate this also, and what I want to return is going to be the header tag, and say something like this is the header, and let's save that, and we're going to import it here. So I'm going to say main header. Okay, this should be HTML. Okay, so main header. All right, so we've brought in the main header, and then the second thing is we want to bring in the footer. Okay, footer dot view, and then we're going to say view init, and very simply we're going to do, okay, this should be HTML, and I think, okay, this also should be HTML. Yeah, all right, and I think what I'm going to do, instead of div here, I'm going to return footer, and then I'm going to say this is a footer, this is the footer. Okay, I'm going to save that, and then inside default layout also, I'm going to come here and I'm going to say footer. Okay, let's bring that in, and okay, we have this here, and then we are going to have slots. Okay, remember dynamic HTML templates right here. And another thing is you can decide to remove this, and like I told you, view 3, you can return multiple components. This works fine. And what I'm basically going to do is, inside of here, I'm going to bring in my default layout, and right here I'm going to put a paragraph and say welcome to home page. Let's see. Okay, should always be multi-word component footer. Okay, that's a not so good ESLint rule. So what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to just add a name attribute, and then I'm going to say footer view. Okay, let's see, did that fix it? Okay, now that works fine. Right, if you should look at the header here, we have something very interesting right here. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I want to create something like this. So let me just do this right here. I'm going to copy highlight this, and let me just paste this in just to make it easier. And basically what we just have is our header, and then we have a nav. Okay, we have nav right here, and then inside of that nav it's a flex box, and we have three sections, which is this link here. Okay, this div that contains the rest of the link, and then a search bar, an input field right here. So let's save that and let's see how that looks like. Okay, so it's looking relatively good. Okay, and we can over on this, so we can see search for recipes here. Okay, this is fine. This is fine and good. How about for the footer also? I'm going to do something similar for the footer. Okay, so this footer right here, paste this in, and okay, we can basically just save these and let's see how that looks like. All right, that is looking fine. Okay, we have basically a grid. Let me explain what we have right here. Okay, so we have basically two root HTML elements. The first is the footer, and then this, which is basically for the copyright and stuffs. And I can just remove, you can remove this part anyway. And okay, all right, so let's save that, and we can see once I scroll down. All right, so this is looking good, and we basically have a grid here. Okay, so the grid is basically has three layouts inside, three children inside here. Okay, and one is for this part here, and okay, sorry, that should be four. Make that four. 1 2 3 4. Okay, so this is starting to look good, and then all of our page components is actually going to be right inside of here. But if you look at this, and I should compare it with this, we can see that there are a few things missing, which is number one, we don't have icons. Okay, how do we add icons? And number two, the font looks vastly different. Okay, so how do we add custom icons? And in the next few lessons we're going to be looking at that specifically.